They say there are two kinds of people in this world. Some people crumble the moment life throws a small challenge their way. And then, there are others, people who remain calm and composed, even when the storm around them is a hurricane. What's the difference between them? It isn't luck. It's the size of their heart. Think about it. When your heart is small, even the tiniest problem feels overwhelming, unbearable. But when your heart is big, spacious, and open, there's simply no room for pain to settle in and stay. Let me tell you a story about a young man named Ryan. His days were a tangled mess of worry and anxiety. No hope, no peace of mind, and the constant pressure from his family was suffocating. His future felt like a dark, uncertain road. Every single morning, he would wake up with the same heavy feeling weighing on his chest, the feeling that life was just being unfair to him. And only him. One afternoon, completely exhausted by his own thoughts, Ryan found himself sitting quietly in a small, bustling cafe, a warm cup of tea in his hands. He watched the world go on around him, the sound of laughter, the murmur of conversations, people just living their lives freely. And he couldn't help but wonder, why not me? Why can't I feel that lightness? Just then, he overheard a conversation from the next table, where a few older men were talking. "You know that wise old man who lives behind the hills?" One of them said. "My son went to see him when he was going through a really tough time, completely depressed. After just one meeting, everything changed for him." Ryan's ears perked up. Changed? How? He leaned in, a little closer. Another man added, "They say he has a gift. He can lighten your heart just by talking to you." That single sentence sparked a tiny flame of hope inside Ryan. Maybe this was his chance. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Ryan started walking toward the hills. The road was long and silent, which only made the noise in his head feel even louder. After what felt like an eternity, he finally reached a small, simple wooden house. Outside, an old man sat peacefully, his eyes as calm and still as the surface of a quiet pond. "Grandpa," Ryan said, his voice barely a whisper. "I have so many problems. I feel lost, sad, and completely hopeless. Please, can you tell me how I can be happy?" The old man looked at him, a gentle gaze in his eyes, but said nothing. He simply stood up and disappeared inside the house. Ryan was left standing there, confused and a little disappointed. He wondered if he should just turn around and leave. But a few minutes later, the old man returned. In his hands, he held a small bowl filled with salt and a single glass of water. "Take a handful of salt," the old man instructed, his voice soft but firm. "Put it in this glass of water, and then drink it." Ryan hesitated. It seemed like a strange request, but he was desperate. So he obeyed. He took a sip and immediately recoiled, his face scrunching up in disgust. "It's so bitter," he managed to say. The old man simply nodded, a knowing look on his face. "Now," he said, "take the same handful of salt and come with me." He led Ryan along a narrow path to a beautiful, vast lake nearby. The water shimmered under the fading light. "Throw the salt into the lake," the old man said. Ryan did as he was told, tossing the salt far into the water, where it vanished without a trace. "Now," the old man said, "drink from the lake." Ryan cupped some of the cool, clear water in his hands and took a sip. He waited for the bitter taste, but it never came. "It tastes fine," he said, looking up in surprise. "It tastes fresh." The old man smiled, and it was a smile that reached his calm eyes. "You see, son," he began, "the pain in our lives is like that handful of salt. The amount of pain doesn't really change, but the size of the container it's put into determines how bitter it tastes." He continued, "When your heart is small, like this glass, even a small amount of pain makes your entire life feel bitter and unbearable. But if you learn to expand your heart, to make it as vast and deep as this lake, that very same pain dissolves. It gets lost in your patience, your understanding, and your strength." Ryan stood there in silence, the old man's words washing over him like the gentle waves of the lake. It was a profound realization. His pain wasn't bigger or worse than anyone else's. His heart had just become too small to handle it. He had been focusing so much on the salt that he forgot he had the power to become the lake. So, the next time life hands you pain, remember this story. Don't let your heart shrink like a glass. Instead, work on expanding it, like a vast, endless lake. True peace doesn't come from a life free of problems. That's an impossible dream. It comes from having a heart that is big enough to hold all of life's challenges and still remain calm, clear, and serene. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content that helps us grow together. Until next time, take care.